The biggest mistake I see when people are performing a push-up is they're not bracing their core and breathing through their diaphragm. They're not engaging their glutes and their quads. They're not protracting their shoulder blades, and they're not externally rotating their shoulders so that they can sit in that proper alignment. So if your push-up looks like this, then we need to fix it. For someone to tell you to do 20 push-ups at a time,
drop and give me 20,
but you're not performing those push-ups correctly, this can actually cause more harm than good. It's not about how many repetitions you can do, it's about the quality of each repetition. So even if that means you're only doing a few push-ups at a time, that's way more significant, and you're working on a solid foundation than just trying to do however many push-ups you can with poor form. You have to think that our body is also riddled with adhesions. Our connective tissue holds our entire body together. And when we have poor alignment, our connective tissue will grip and hold us out of that alignment. So we need to first create a release in these key areas and then start creating strength in all the right areas so that you can actually perform a push-up properly. So before I start breaking down how to brace the core, align the pelvis, engage the quads, protract the shoulder blades, externally rotate the shoulders, and even gripping the hands into the floor, we first want to start creating some release in these upper ribs, because for many of us, this is an area that is really glued and stuck, and you won't be able to protract your shoulder blades properly. You might have a wing scapula, they might be uneven. So when we first start by creating a release, and then we start strengthening the body properly, it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to perform a push-up properly. So all you need is a rolled up towel to get started, and it will look just like this. And now what we want to do is work on those upper side left ribs to start off. And this is going to be right in alignment with your left pec. So nice and slow, come on down to the floor, rest your head in your hand, and let's start by engaging the breath. When we're performing a fascia decompression technique, there's two rules. We got to spend a minimum of 3 minutes in a position, but also engaging the proper breath, which is going to help in turn release the connective tissue. So place your hand on your belly as you're laying in this position and focus that your belly's starting to expand with that inhalation. Your rib cage will be expanding. Then when you exhale, the belly and the rib cage will be getting smaller. So now that you're starting to settle in, you may start feeling that there's some sensation. Some may refer that to pain. That's all okay. There's also going to be some discomfort, but we got to find those sensations so that we can release those adhesions so that the fascia becomes more fluid and less sticky and dry. Now, nice and slowly, we can start to search towards the front. So place your top hand in front of you and start rolling in that direction. And we're not rocking fast. We're connecting and slowly searching for more adhesions and restrictions. Once you find a new area of sensation, hang out there, connect to the breath, and at any point where you feel that it's too jarring, ease off slightly, reconnect at a less intensity. This is a process of melting and releasing the adhesions rather than forcefully trying to just release it as fast as you can. It's actually ironic. The slower you move, the faster you're going to get a release rather than thinking that you need to be doing this quickly. Now, once you spent about a minute or so in the front, let's come back to neutral. And now place your top leg behind you, and nice and slow, let's start searching towards the back. You may even touch into your rotator cuff and your shoulder blade. Once you spend about a minute or so in the back, come back to neutral. You can spend longer time here. You can spend up to 5 minutes, even longer if you would like. And when you're ready, place your top hand in front of you, nice and slow, exhale up and off. Now it's important, of course, that we do this on the right side. So come on down to that right side, follow that exact same protocol, spending a minimum of 3 minutes here. And then when you're ready, exhale up and off. And now let's start breaking down how to engage all of these foundations so that you can start to master the push-up. First thing I mentioned is bracing your core and breathing through your diaphragm. This is the most important thing, because if our rib cage is out of alignment, then our pelvis is out of alignment and our shoulders are out of alignment. So place 2 fingers directly under your ribs just like this. And exhale so that you're pushing those fingers out of your abdomen. That's engaging your core. You want your core to be flexed. And then as you activate your diaphragm you're going to feel that your entire rib cage is expanding with that inhalation and getting smaller with that exhalation. So those ribs should be in that neutral alignment. We don't want them to be collapsed or flared out and open like this. Find that neutral position and make sure they are engaged. Next, what I want you to do is lay on your back and tilt your pelvis into more of a posterior pelvic alignment. And you're going to notice that your glutes are going to start to engage automatically as we start to rotate the pelvis in this orientation. And now once you've had that activated, now we've accomplished that the core brace and the diaphragm and the pelvis are in the proper alignment. So now let's flip onto all fours. This is so important now. Now we're starting to focus a little bit more in those shoulders and the shoulder blades. Now, when you're on all fours like this, have your hands directly under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and slowly start to push your shoulder blades away from you. And even if you try this out before you do those fascial release positions, you're going to notice that it might be difficult to do this. The shoulder blades might feel a little sticky and stuck to that rib cage. We want to create some freedom so that we can start engaging the muscles properly. So nice and slow, push the shoulder blades away from the spine. The shoulder blades will start to wrap around the rib cage into that protracted alignment. And you can play around with this a little bit where you start bringing your shoulder blades towards your spine without bending your elbows, and then exhaling and pushing those shoulder blades away. So when you're performing a push-up, you need to make sure that the shoulder blades are protracted. Now, next we want to move into the external rotation of the shoulders. If your shoulders are internally rotated and you're trying to push up, you're going to be literally building yourself further out of alignment. You're going to feel more tension in your traps in all the wrong areas. So as you grip your hands into the floor, now try to torque your hands and your shoulders externally, so away from you. You're going to notice that your shoulders are going to start to naturally fall into that proper alignment, and you're going to feel more length between your shoulder and your ear. We want to create more of that length. So once you understand all of this, we can start activating a proper plank. So nice and slow, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips approximately. Now nice and slowly extend one leg at a time and get into that plank. Now feel that your core and your rib cage is in that braced alignment. You can breathe through your diaphragm in this braced alignment. Now engage those glutes. You're going to be bringing that pelvis into a posterior pelvic alignment, and now even flex the quads slightly. This isn't the most important action here, but we want to understand that the full body is likely going to be engaged even performing a push-up. And now let's push those shoulder blades away from the spine, grip the hands into the floor, and now once you're here, we're going to slowly start bending the elbows into that push-up. But we don't want to lose any of this connection. As soon as you start to lose the core brace or the pelvic alignment or the shoulder blades, then we need to slow down. But nice and slow, as you come down in towards a push-up, your elbows will not be flared out at a 90 degree. Try to keep them a little bit more tucked at a 45 degree angle closer to your side. So when you come into the bottom part of a repetition and everything is still aligned, you're going to push up, and as you externally rotate, you're going to feel your pecs really engaging. So yes, this will be working your pecs, your anterior deltoid, and your triceps primarily when we're doing the motion and action of a push-up. If you can only get 1, 3, 5 push-ups done properly, that is significantly better for making progress and for your alignment and true strength in all of the right areas. So once you've mastered where the body should be aligned to perform a push-up, start off nice and slow and work towards however many you can do pretty well to failure, probably a rep or two before failure. And let's say that's 7 push-ups, that's amazing. Perform 3 sets with about 30 seconds to a minute rest in between, and then repeat that process. So if you feel that your shoulder blades are a little stuck or glued, or they're not in that proper alignment, make sure you perform those fascia decompression positions daily or right before you start performing push-ups, and then notice that ease of movement in your shoulder blades and how quickly you can master the push-up. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you comment below if this did help you at all, and if you have any suggestions or recommendation for future videos, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.